Today we are going to solve a problem that is next getter element. The problem is the next getter element of some element x in an array is the first greater element that is to the right of x in the same array. You are given two distinct zero-index integer array nums1 and nums2 where nums1 is a subset of nums2. For each 0 is less than equal to I is less than nums1 length, find the index j such that nums1 I equal to nums2 j and determine the next greater element of nums2 j in nums2. If there is no next greater element, then the answer for this query is -1. Return an array answer of length nums1 dot length such that answer of I is the next greater element as described. Let's understand by an example. Suppose there is input nums1 412, nums2 1342. Explain. The next greater element for each value of nums1 is follows. Suppose 4. 4 is underlined in nums2 1342. There is no next greater element, so our answer is -1. 412 check from this. 4 is check from 1, 4 is check for 3, 4 is check for 4. Or after 4 checking there is no greater element, that's why we print -1. In second 1 check for 1 is equal, then 3 is greater than, that's why we print 3. And for checking 2 is checking for 1, checking for 3, checking for 4 and checking for 2. When we check for 2 is equal, but there is no exist after the element of 2 that any getter element, so it's also return -1. That same way you can understand by second example. There is nums1 equal to 2, 4, nums2 1, 2, 3, 5. You have to compare 2 to 1 is less than, 2 is to 2 is equal to, and after 2 you can see that 3 is greater than 2, that's why we have to return 3. And if you are checking for 4, you have to check 1, then you have to check from 2, you have to check from 3 and you have to check for 4. When you are checking from 4 it equal to, but there is no greater element after 4, that's why we have to return -1. After this we have to show the output. So let's solve the problem in code. We are coding in C++. So as you see, vector int next getter element, vector int address of nums and vector int nums2. So firstly we use for loop creating a variable I in an initialization with 0 and condition I is less than nums1 dot size. Why we comparing num1 dot size? Because this loop run only the size of the nums time. If the size of the nums1 is 5, then this loop is only run 5 times. Creating and again create using for loop int j assign 0, j less than nums2 dot size j plus plus. j is in a slice with 0, j compare with nums2 dot size and j plus plus. Then start comparing. If first element of the nums1 array compare to all the array of nums2, so then nums1 I is compared with nums2 j, because when we execute I for 0, j execute for I0 is j I when I equal to 0, j execute j equal to 0, j equal to 1 and up to the size of the nums2. And we take a k int k assign 0 on we increment k plus plus, so we know that this loop is run. If k equal to 1, when the loop is running, that means the value of k is increases by 1 and k equal to 1. When k equal to 1, then we check the greater element. Firstly we check the first matching value, that is the, suppose in nums1 array, suppose first value is 2, so firstly we check the whole array in nums2, where is the 2 value. When we find the value of value 2 or position of 2, then after the value of 2 we are checking that greater than the 2 value. Suppose we check 2 and 2 equal, then we, if the after that the element, if the any greater element from 2 is available, then we have to return, if not we have to return -1. So then if k equal to 1, that's mean the value is fine. Then if nums1 I less than, if less than nums2 j, then nums1 I assigning nums to j, and we break it. If the less than, then nums1 I assign nums2 j value and break it. If j equal to, if the value is not find and we are checking and the size of the nums is completed, then j equal to nums2 dot size -1. If j equal to, then nums1 I assigning -1 and break it. And as last return nums1. I explaining the whole code once again. First loop is using for the nums1 array and second loop using for nums2. Firstly we compare, if firstly the first element of the nums1 array is comparing with all element of the nums2 array. If any element found if the when we compare if element found equal, that means this if condition is true and k plus plus. Then if k equal to 1, that means the element is found that are equal. Then we are comparing if any element is nums2 array is greater than the element of the nums1 array that is firstly equal to that element, then we have to assigning nums1 I, that means the that position of the array nums1 is nums2 I j. If we do not find any greater elements, we check whole nums2 array, and when we check the whole array and then we have to assign that we have to return -1 to that position of the first array and then break it, and then let's run it. That's how the that's code is running well or not. It's showing error. It's showing, according to me, is a bracket problem, any bracket mistake. Class solution. One, two, three, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think not a problem. If 1, 2, 3, 4, it's complete, it's complete, it's complete, it's complete, it's complete. According to me, all completed. What a problem. Wait 1 minute by checking.